How to talk about various speech habits. Sessions 24 to 27. Teaser preview. What adjective describes people who are disinclined to conversation, are brief and to the point in their speech, are blocked or incoherent in their speech, show by their speech that they are trite and unimaginative, use more words than necessary, are forcefully compelling and logical in their speech, talk rapidly and fluently, are noisy and clamorous, are talkative. Session 24. Perhaps some of your richest and most satisfying experiences have been with people to whom you can just talk. As you speak, previously untapped springs of ideas and emotions begin to flow. You hear yourself saying things you never thought you knew. What kinds of people might you find yourself in conversation with? In this chapter, we start by examining 10 types, discovering the adjective that aptly describes each one. Ideas. 1. Saying little. There are some people who just don't like to talk. It's not that they prefer to listen. Good listeners hold up their end of the conversation delightfully, with appropriate facial expressions, with empathetic smiles, giggles, squeals, and sighs at just the right time, and with encouraging nods or phrases like, "Go on, fantastic," and then what happened? These people like neither to talk nor to listen. They act as if conversation is a bore, even a painful waste of time. Try to engage them, and the best you may expect for your efforts is a vacant stare, a non-committal grunt, or an impatient silence. Finally, in frustration, you give up, thinking, are they self-conscious? Do they hate people? Do they hate me? The adjective taciturn. 2. Saying little, meaning much. There is a well-known anecdote about Calvin Coolidge, who, when he was president, was often called, though probably not to his face, Silent Cal. A young newspaper woman was sitting next to him at a banquet, so the story goes, and turned to him mischievously. "Mr. Coolidge," she said, "I have a bet with my editor that I can get you to say more than 2 words to me this evening." "You lose," Coolidge rejoined simply. The adjective, laconic. 3. When the words won't come. Under the pressure of some strong emotion, fear, rage, anger, for example, people may find it difficult or even impossible to utter words, to get their feelings unjumbled and untangled enough to form understandable sentences. They undoubtedly have a lot they want to say, but the best they can do is sputter. The adjective inarticulate. 4. Much talk, little sense. Miss Bates, a character in Emma, a novel by Jane Austen. So obliging of you. No, we should not have heard, if it had not been for this particular circumstance, of her being able to come here so soon. My mother is so delighted, for she is to be 3 months with us, at least. 3 months, she says so, positively, as I am going to have the pleasure of reading to you. The case is, you see, that the Campbells are going to Ireland. Mrs. Dixon has persuaded her father and mother to come over and see her directly. I was going to say, but however, different countries, and so she wrote a very urgent letter to her mother or her father. I declare I do not know which it was, but we shall see presently in Jane's letter. The adjective, garrulous. 5. Unoriginal. Some people are completely lacking in originality and imagination, and their talk shows it. Everything they say is trite, hackneyed, commonplace, humorless. Their speech patterns are full of clichés and stereotypes. Their phraseology is without sparkle. The adjective, banal. 6. Words. They talk and talk and talk. It's not so much the quantity you object to as the repetitiousness. They phrase, rephrase, and re-rephrase their thoughts, using far more words than necessary, overwhelming you with words, drowning you with them, until your only thought is how to escape, or maybe how to die. The adjective, verbose. 7. Words in quick succession. They are rapid, fluent talkers, the words seeming to roll off their tongues with such ease and lack of effort, and sometimes with such copiousness that you listen with amazement. The adjective voluble. 8. Words that convince. They express their ideas persuasively, forcefully, brilliantly, and in a way that calls for wholehearted assent and agreement from an intelligent listener. The adjective cogent. 9. The sound and the fury. Their talk is loud, noisy, clamorous, vehement. What may be lacking in content is compensated for in force and loudness. The adjective vociferous. 10. Quantity. They talk a lot, a whole lot. They may be voluble, vociferous, garrulous, verbose, but never inarticulate, taciturn, or laconic. No matter. It's the quantity and continuity that are most conspicuous. Were you vaccinated with a phonograph needle? Is the question you are tempted to ask as you listen. The adjective loquacious. These 10 words revolve around the idea of varying kinds and ways of talking and not talking. Many of the adjectives are close in meaning, but each contains its unique difference. Quality adjective. 1. Silence, unresponsiveness, taciturn. 2. Economy, brevity, meaningfulness, laconic. 3. Awkwardness, sputtering, incoherence, inarticulate. 4. Rambling chatter, garrulous. 5. Hackneyed, unoriginal phraseology, banal. 6. Wordiness, repetitiousness, verbose. 7. Fluency, rapidity, voluble. 8. Logic, clarity, persuasiveness, cogent. 9. Noise, vehemence, vociferous. 10. Talkativeness, loquacious. Using the words. Can you pronounce the words? 1. Taciturn. 2. Laconic. 3. Inarticulate. 4. Garrulous. 5. Banal. 6. Verbose. 7. Voluble. 8. Cogent. 9. Vociferous. 10. Loquacious. Can you work with the words? A. Chattering meaninglessly. B. Wordy. C. Trite, hackneyed, unoriginal. D. Fluent and rapid. E. Noisy, loud. F. Sputtering unintelligibly. G. Talkative. H. Brilliantly compelling, persuasive. I. Unwilling to engage in conversation. J. Using few words packed with meaning. Do you understand the words? 1. Do taciturn people usually make others feel comfortable and welcome? Yes or no? 2. Does a laconic speaker use more words than necessary? Yes or no? 3. Does rage make some people inarticulate? Yes or no? 4. Is it interesting to listen to garrulous old men? Yes or no? 5. Do banal speakers show a great deal of originality? Yes or no? 6. Is verbose a complimentary term? Yes or no? 7. Is it easy to be voluble when you don't know the subject you are talking about? Yes or no? 8. Do unintelligent people usually make cogent statements? Yes or no? 9. Is a vociferous demand ordinarily made by a shy, quiet person? Yes or no? 10. Do loquacious people spend more time talking than listening? Yes or no? Can you recall the words? Do you know that new nerve patterns are formed by repeated actions? As a very young child, you tied your shoelaces and buttoned your clothing with great concentration. The activity was directed, controlled, purposeful, exciting. As you grew older and more skillful, you tied and buttoned with scarcely a thought of what you were doing. Your fingers flew about their task almost automatically, for the habit had formed a nerve pattern, and the action needed little, if any, conscious attention. That's simple enough to understand. If you do not remember your own experiences, you can observe the phenomenon of struggling with a skill, mastering it, and finally making it a self-starting habit by watching any young child, or you can simply take my word for it. You need not take my word for the way a mastery of new words is acquired. You can see in yourself, as you work with this book, how adding words to your vocabulary is exactly analogous to a child's mastery of shoelacing. First, you struggle with the concepts, then you eventually master them. Finally, by frequent work with the new words, now you see the reason for the great number of exercises, the repetitious writing, saying, thinking. You build up new nerve patterns and you begin to use the new words with scarcely any consciousness of what you are doing. Watch this common but important phenomenon closely as you do the next exercise. Your total absorption of the material so far has given you complete mastery of our 10 basic words. Prove that you are beginning to form new nerve patterns in relation to these words by writing the one that fits each brief definition. The more quickly you think of the word that applies, the surer you can be that using these words will soon be as automatic and unself-conscious as putting on your shoes or buttoning/zipping yourself up in the morning. 1. Talkative. 2. Noisy, vehement, clamorous. 3. Incoherent, sputtering. 4. Gabbing ceaselessly and with little meaning. 5. Disinclined to conversation. 6. Talking in hackneyed phraseology. 7. Showing a fine economy in the use of words. 8. Forceful and convincing. 9. Talking rapidly and fluently. 10. Using more words than necessary. End of Session 24.